bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right. Well. Fade to Black. Here we go. Bespoke radio for the masses. How you doing? Today's Wednesday, January 30th, 2019. 30 days into the new year, just 335 days left. That's right, we are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? All right. Very excited tonight. Patrick Wood is here. We're going to talk about his new book. It is called Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow night is another Fader night. Open lines all night long. I might even open up the phone lines tonight. A little bit later with Patrick. I think that would be really, really cool. So, oh, man, River Moon Coffee. You know, I'm so tempted. I could stop this show right now. Just kick it. Drink some coffee. Man, it's that good. It just, all right. All right, let's get the show cracking. We've got a lot to do tonight. It's going to be an amazing conversation coming up with Patrick Wood. And before we get there, and don't forget to hit all of our social media on Stellar, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is Jimmy Church or Fade to Black. And also, David X. Pendleton is saying that you must have your bacon soda. I bet you that's pretty good. You know, bacon soda. Is it maple? Is it maple? Is it maple? That would be good. A maple bacon soda. I could work with that. That's pretty clever there, David. And you know what? Just for grins, that gets a retweet. You know, just oh man, I got a tweet with a comment. Oh, I hate doing this at the top of the show, taking away from everything. David, see what you did? Bacon soda. All right, Facebook, easy. YouTube, easy. Twitter, easy. It's all right there at jimmychurchradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at jchurchradio. At jchurchradio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. We have a chat room over at Spreaker. We have a chat room right here on KGRA, the Planet. If you don't want to do any of that, then you can email me, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. All right. Now, did you see let's get the show cracking. We got a lot to talk about. Did you see the latest episode of Project Blue Book? All right. Now, I'm just going to say this. Yeah, as expected, it's getting way out there. And so now we have J. Allen Hynek looking at submerged ET suspended in a tank and at Werner von Braun's facility in Huntsville, Alabama. And we also get Vanna's anti-gravity flying saucer showing off its American flags as it goes interdimensional. So that happened. And just remember, at the beginning, you get that disclaimer that says, based on real events, actual case files of Project Blue Book, right? And so, although I find it entertaining, and I really do, Project Blue Book is just pure science fiction. Well, it's a little science and pure maxed out fiction. And that's cool. I don't have an issue with that. It's fun, but I wonder how many viewers out there are watching the show and are thinking stuff like, see, man, I told you, they're dripping us some disclosure, man, with this show. All of this really happened, man. And, I knew it. I knew that J. Allen Hynek was part of it. I knew that he saw things. I knew that he made contact. And that's what I'm a little paranoid about here, because that is the danger of this show. Is the disclaimer actually part of the fiction as well? Think about that for a second. Is that part of it? Is the whole disclaimer based on real events, is that part of this theatrical immersion experience? Right? The War of the Worlds. Is that what is going on here? Well, trust me, I'm going to continue to watch the series. It's really fun. But now I know, and especially after this latest episode, that is just made to entertain us. Unless you really think von Braun has captured ETs in his office in Huntsville. Well, I guess anything is possible, right? But that was that took things to a whole nother level. My head just spun around. I was like, okay, that's it. That's it. I'm stopping with anything about based on fact. I'm just that part's out. It's just there to entertain. All right. What is this? Man, you guys are distracting me. Is that meat soda? What? Okay, all right. Maple syrup, bacon soda. I can wrap my head around, but gravy? Oh, man. That's just too much, man. All right, don't forget. Today is January 30th, February 22nd, 3 weeks. We're going to be at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo right here in Los Angeles, California at the LAX Hilton, February 22nd through the 25th. Tickets and info are over at consciouslifeexpo.com. You can click on the banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. Go and get your tickets. I will be hosting the big panel on Friday night with Eric Von Daniken, and you need tickets for that. Go over to consciouslifeexpo.com. Click on the banners, tickets and info. We're going to have a booth. We're going to be hanging out. We got a full weekend of events scheduled. Go now. Full schedule. Everything is over at consciouslifeexpo.com. And then right after that, May 31st, June 3rd, Contact in the Desert in Indian Wells, Palm Springs, California at the Renaissance Indian Wells Resort and Spa. Tickets and info are over at contactinthedesert.com. Now, really quick, when you go and get your tickets for Contact in the Desert, I am going to be hosting the awards dinner. That's right. And you are going to want to be there. Okay, so you've got to get your tickets for that, the awards dinner. That is Saturday night at Contact in the Desert. All right, contactinthedesert.com. And then right after that, our 2019 Soul Tech Conference, which is over the July 4th weekend at the Sunrise Ranch in Loveland, Colorado. And you've got to get on the waiting list for tickets, soultechgathering.com. Simple, soultechgathering.com. Somebody says there's issues. Don't know. Everything sounds good over here. All right, let's see. Bitcoin. Have you been watching it? Dropped to 3,300 and change. It is struggling just to get above 3,400. Unbelievable. I don't even know. I think I go to CoinDesk. Bitcoin price. I think that's what it is. That's where I go, and it's in real time. Need to go check that out. That is a nosedive. All right. Subscribe to our podcast. $2 a month. We have over 985 shows right there. I try it for sure. Bacon and ice cream is delish. Bacon ice cream soda. That could be good. I might do that. All right. You can also become a Fade or Not over in our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Get whatever you need. Commercial-free downloadable archives. You get all that gear. Even over at jimmychurchradio.com, you can get T-shirts, right? Okay, not this one. You can't get the famous FU Tascam T-shirt. That's mine. Means faders up before, get your mind out of the... I know what you were thinking. It doesn't mean that. It means faders up. Fader knots. Get it? And it says it right there. Faders up. Faders. Up with faders. All right. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, the one and only Phil Collins is 68 years old. On this day in history, OTD. Check this out. The first computer virus is released into the wild in 1982. It was called the Elk Cloner and was created by 15-year-old Richard Skrenta as a practical joke. Now, Elk Cloner spread by infecting the Apple DOS 3.3 operating system on floppy disk that had a game on it using the technique now known as, a boot sector virus. It was attached to a game in which was then set to play. The 50th time the game was started, the virus was released. But instead of playing the game, it would change to a blank screen that displayed a poem about the virus on this day in 1982. There's a lot out there. You can go and read about Elk Cloner. Pretty ingenious for a 15-year-old, too, as well. Pretty cool. Fader fact. Also in 1982, right? Xerox management watched a film of people struggling to use their new copier and laughed because they said that the people in the video must have been grabbed off of the loading dock. Well, the people struggling were Ron Kaplan, a computational linguist, and Alan Newell, a founding father of artificial intelligence. And that is your Fader Fact. Tonight, Patrick Wood is here. Really looking forward to this. We're going to discuss his new book, Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. What does that mean? We're going to cover all of it tonight. Tomorrow night's another Fader night. Open lines all night long. All right. Yeah, and I'm off this weekend. I can't believe it. Oh, I can't believe it. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. I think I'm off. Yeah, next weekend I'm over at Coast all weekend. So, but this weekend I'm off. I got lots to do too. I got so much stuff to do over at the house. Rita's to-do list. She's got another name for it, but it's long. So I need this weekend off. Also in 1982, is that right? Was that 1982? Screaming for Vengeance? At one point, I probably could play the majority of it, but at one point, I knew every note on that record, and I would just play it from beginning to end. I would just start on one, and I would end on side two. Back in the days, it was before CDs. All right. Well, today my email was flooded with everyone reaching out to me for comment on 2 videos that have surfaced on YouTube, right? Directly to YouTube channels and also to an article that was posted by Jane Kyle over at Texas UFOs. The first video is with Alaya Prokofiev. Okay, are you ready? Rita taught me how to say this right before the show. Prokofieva. Yeah. All right. She's a space visionary and the CEO of Galactica, who is trying to build a full-on city out in space. And I've talked about this in the past. The second video is of an object above the Pentagon. More on that in just a bit. But in the first video, Alaya appears to be giving a speech at the United Nations. And as far as the video sides of things is concerned, it looks pretty genuine. Shot on location in the UN General Assembly Hall. It's the audio that is in question with me, but when you see everything in sync and it lines up when it's visible, it looks again, pretty real. So she is announcing that a pyramid-shaped object has just appeared above the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., saying that on December, inaudible, the date, at 4:07 a.m., and she says 4:07 a.m. in the audio. The closed captioning on the screen says 4:07 p.m., that extraterrestrial contact has occurred. Now, I'm going to give you some of the quotes here from the video, from the speech at the United Nations. Quoting direct, she says, and I quote, "A metal object shaped like a pyramid appeared over the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., the United States of America." Okay, I almost want to stop right there. Now, again, allegedly, this is at the United Nations General Assembly. More on that in just a bit. She continues with, and I'm quoting, this is word for word, "An unidentified flying object with a diameter of around 100 meters rotated around its own axis at an altitude of 500 meters. Close quote. She continues with this, quote, "NASA Operational Task Group specializing in the receiving and processing of the space data received and incoming data from the object. At this moment, as I speak to you now, the data has been processed and investigated by NASA," close quote. Okay? She continues. "The information from the radars, the visual information, and the fixation of the radio signals incoming from the unidentified flying object were made." Close quote. Again, continuing. "According to the data, we can say that the object hovering over the Pentagon can be identified as an aircraft of unknown origin." Okay. Continuing, "Hypothetically extraterrestrial. However, there were no signs of aggression." And then she continues, the closed captioning does not, she continues saying, "from the object." But this isn't in the closed captioning. So what she actually says is, hypothetically extraterrestrial. However, there were no signs of aggression from the object. All right? She says next, I got to get caught up here. She says next, "The repeating radio burst named FRB 180814.J0422 plus 73, recorded by specialists of the Chime Observatory, British Columbia's Okanagan Valley, matches the pattern of the signal fixated by NASA incoming from the object hovering over the Pentagon." She continues with this. "Currently, work is already underway to calculate the coordinates of the signal source and the corresponding inhabited celestial Video ends right there. Now, although it cuts off at this point, but there is a second video that shows a pyramid object above the Pentagon that was posted on December 21st, 2018. Okay? In that video, they don't mention the date. Okay, so the video was posted on December 21st, and the UN video, in it, December is referenced, but you can't hear the date that she says there. Okay, so, but we got some, connecting of the dots here. Now, in the Pentagon video, although it's pretty clear, and in the street that is in the foreground, you can see the Pentagon in the background. It's at night, which also takes me back to the 4 a.m., 4 p.m. thing. She says 4 a.m., closed captioning says 4 p.m. The video is definitely 4 a.m. in the morning, or at least it's at night. It's dark. Okay? The streets are nice and clear in front. You see cars driving through. You see the Pentagon in the background, and it's all very clear. But this triangle object, which is what is referenced in the video, nobody actually says pyramid, but at one point you see the bottom of it. But it's up in the clouds, and it's a little fuzzy, but the size of the object and the altitude sort of match what is in the presentation in the United Nations video. All right, so now we have this issue. What do we do with these two videos? Obviously, in the UN video, if real, it's the Holy Grail, right? It's the smoking gun. Of all things, UFO. No question about it. None. But is it real? Right? Here's my take. All right? And it's very simple analysis. First off, I'm an audio guy. All right, let's make that clear. I know my audio. And the UN video footage is allegedly from a hidden camera. Okay? That's honest. Can't go in and film at the United Nations. You can't do it. They actually say that at the beginning of the video. No videos, no recordings of this session, and so forth, right? Okay, so that's there. But why is the audio so crappy? The audio is very, very thin, and it's also at very low volume. In the past, if something like that happened and it's a hidden camera video and it's thin, and okay, we can make excuses. But today, even the simplest of phones or cameras capture amazing full spectrum, full sounding audio. They just do. And the PA system at the United Nations, I guarantee it, is pumping out perfectly clear stuff. I mean, loud. That's a guarantee. So for me, this raises a huge red flag, because she appears to be speaking exactly what is heard. Do you understand what I'm saying? The video and the audio sync up. It looks legit. Okay? It looks legit. But it's thin. And I have an issue with that. So, is this a deep fake creation? Remember the Buscemi Lawrence deep fake video that I posted yesterday with a warning about how the software technology is being used for the creation of stuff that is used to spread disinfo, right? I threw that warning out there to everybody. Kind of weird that this surfaces today. I mean, for me, it's just a weird coinkydink. Even with its obvious audio issues, the UN video is too perfect. It says all the right things. It does. It's got the correct data. It's got the correct references. It's all there. It's just too perfect. So does that make this video fake or a hoax? Absolutely not. It does not. But like I said yesterday, and I really mean it, the software today that is available to create a new reality and create a new deception, it's here. It's here today. And now it's totally left up to us to try and figure things out. Is it real or is it Memorex? And that's what we are doing now with this UN video. Putting the Pentagon video aside, that may just be totally legit the way that it is, and there's a square object, and it happens to be above the Pentagon. It's dark. It's at night. You can't really. You have to use discernment with that. And is that a hoax? I don't know. It's probably just. But now you take a video that is real, like the Pentagon video, okay, and you turn around and you create something like this from the United Nations, a speech that is presented. Well, how could they do it? Listen to me, okay? You create an audio track, which is what is done here, and then the software is controlled by the audio. The lips are moving and forming the words from the audio that is being pumped in, and now you've got a video, technically, that is real. It's not overdubbed. It's not it's not, trying to get no, the words and the script, right? The copy is controlling what is happening on the screen. And that kind of deception, what are we left with? Now it's up to us to figure it out. We have to prove, right? And for all things considered, it's a real video. It's not a real video. It's probably not a real video that captured a real speech that was done on the United Nations floor in the General Assembly Hall. No, but the video itself is real. It was generated. And that is where we are at today. I turn around and I warned everybody yesterday with that Buscemi Lawrence video that here we go. All right, we got things that could be created now that we're not going to be able to tell if it's real or not. And then this happens today. So check it out. I posted everything. It's over at Texas UFOs. And I do want to thank, the thing is this, and I'm going to see if I can get Jane Kyle on the show tomorrow. I would like her opinion over at Texas UFOs. I don't know if she wants to come on, a show like Fade to Black. Maybe she does. But she posted it, from what I can tell, she posted it up there first and wrote up an excellent article, and she's got it out there. So she deserves credit for that, and I would like to have her opinion. And maybe we'll do that tomorrow night on the show. With that, this is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Patrick Wood is here. We've got an amazing conversation that is going to happen tonight because we are going to talk about his new book, Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. All of that is coming up next on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. Follow me now on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's all you got to do. Join the conversation in the Soundbox. I'll be right back after this short break with our guest, Patrick Wood. Stay with me.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey folks, guess what the number one phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Patrick Wood is here. Tomorrow night, open lines all night long. You know, aside from tonight with Patrick, tomorrow night's going to be my favorite night of the week. Well, until tomorrow night. But right now, it's tonight. Patrick is amazing, and he's a leading expert on historic and modern technocracy. The elitist Trilateral Commission, their policies and achievements in creating their self-proclaimed new international economic order, which is the essence of sustainable development on a global scale. An economist by education, an economist by education, a financial analyst and a writer by profession, and an American constitutionalist by choice. He maintains a biblical worldview and has deep historical insights into the modern attacks on sovereignty, property rights, and personal freedom. Had to cough. He's also the founder and executive director of Citizens for Free Speech, a tax-exempt organization to defend and promote the First Amendment of the United States Constitution.
He's a frequent speaker and guest on radio shows around the nation. And tonight, we are going to talk about his new book, Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order, covering, and we're going to do all of this tonight, 5G, smart cities, global cities, mass surveillance, fintech, or is it fine tech? We'll find out. Cashless societies, cryptocurrencies, regionalization, and, of course, collaborative governance. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, Patrick Wood. Patrick, how are you, and what have you been up to? Are you cold tonight? What's the weather like?
Jimmy, I'm down in Mesa, Arizona.
I thought you were up like in South Dakota, visiting friends.
No. We used to be up in North Idaho, which is not having a bad winter.
Right.
But we moved down a few years ago back to Phoenix, where we're from, Scottsdale area.
Oh, originally. Man, I love it.
And so, yeah, it's warm down here. We had, I think, maybe 70 degrees today.
I'll tell you something really funny about Phoenix that you probably didn't know. Do you know where Cave Creek is?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you jump up, you get on Scottsdale Road, head up, go past Camelback Mountain, get into Cave Creek, then stop your car, right? Right there. One of the craziest UFO crash retrieval United States Air Force events happened right there. Nobody knows about it. Nobody talks about it. Yeah,
interesting.
Flying saucer crash, and the Air Force goes in. The classic scenario, right? A cover of darkness. They get a crane, put the flying saucer on the back of a flatbed. It splits town. Witnesses. Then where the UFO crash, which was on Scottsdale Road, by the way. I mean, right there, they dug up all of the dirt, put in a parking lot, and there's nothing to see here. It's like
nothing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Right there, right next to you, man. Mesa, right there. Yeah.
Right up the road.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, what have you been up to? We've done a lot of shows with you recently. The world is a-changing, my friend. You've got the new book out. What's going on in your world?
Well, I'm spending a lot of time working on media appearances like this. Trying to get the word out around the country. Still doing a lot of research and writing and, other things like that.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you. Before we get into the book, and which we're going to spend the next 2.5 hours on, are you hip to deep fake videos and that technology?
Oh, yes.
All right.
You bet.
Is this about the craziest development in software? It's like this is the world's Pandora's box, right?
Yes,
this is 1984 for real, where the videos themselves are real. That's the crazy part. In that the videos are real. They're just not videos of actuality of real events, but the videos themselves are real.
Oh, that's right. And you cannot tell the difference. The naked eye cannot tell the difference between a fake video and a real video. And if people don't quite know what we're talking about fake videos, it's like using AI software to modify the lip movement and the words that come out of a person's mouth on video to make it look like the person is speaking what you want them to speak. And so you can type up a script.
Yep.
Feed it to the AI.
Yep.
And that person will speak. And you'd swear it was a straight video taken of the guy speaking. So you cannot tell the difference.
You can't, because it's a real video. That's why you can't tell the difference. The video is real. The event is not real, right? The event is not real, but the video itself is real. And I posted a video yesterday of Steve Buscemi's face, which has been inserted over Jennifer Lawrence. And it's at the Golden Globes. Now, it's Jennifer's voice controlling Steve Buscemi's face. Not only his lips, by the way, his blinking eyes, right?
Yes,
his
indeed.
movements, the movements of his eyes. And you look at that, and if you didn't know who Steve Buscemi was or Jennifer Lawrence, because it's a combination of the two of them, you would think that this was just some actors you had never seen before doing a presser for the Golden Globes. It's that good.
It is. And it's kind of a cute parlor trick on one hand, but on the other hand, it has the potential for unmitigated evil because there's going to be some uses that people find for this technology that will be harmful and destructive and just absolutely devastating to some people who will be saying things that they never said, but they'll get released on YouTube or somewhere. I mean, can you imagine taking a Barack Obama speech on socialism,
bingo,
and putting it through Donald Trump's mouth or face?
Yeah, the script. You only need the script because Donald's going to speak it. And here we are, and we're coming up on a new campaign season. It's just like we are.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we are ripe for this. So today, it happened. I woke up this morning with the news of this speech that was just given at the United Nations. And was it you that I was talking to today when I said I'm watching a video of the United Nations? Was it you?
I don't think so.
Okay, then. Okay. Well, I got a phone call. I was going over this today. And now, I'm assuming this is a deep fake video, but it's a video of somebody stepping up at the United Nations in the Grand Assembly Hall saying, okay, contact has happened above the Pentagon. This is what's going on. And you're looking at the video, you're listening to the speech, and everything syncs up. Why? Because it's supposed to. You know, this AI tech, this software tech that allows faces and videos to be manipulated like this, you feed it a script, and it's going to be spoken. And this could be exactly what you're talking about right there, Patrick. This is an example of its use as disinfo.
That's right. Technically, you're exactly right. I mean, it could be that Jimmy Church disappears off the face of the earth and an AI program replaces him and his face on all the videos that he appears on, and even on the radio. Hey, it sounds like Jimmy Church to me.
I would love it. I could go on vacation. You could write the script for the show, Patrick.
That would be dangerous right there. But
I need some time off. But okay, now let's get around to the book. This deep fake stuff is not going to go away, and the other part about it is, as good as it is and as frightening as it is now, it's only going to get better. The AI machine and software that is running this is only going to get better, and we have really got to turn up the dials on our discernment meters, right? Our BS meters. And start to really use judgment. I don't know what to do. I really don't. I watched that UN video today, and I'm trying to break it apart. And the video's real. That's my point. The video itself is real. I'm not saying it was a video of somebody presenting at the United Nations, but the video itself is real. And the giveaway for me is the audio was so crappy that that was generated. It wasn't recorded at the United Nations, but it syncs up with the video just fine, and the video itself is real. It's just, does everybody understand what I'm saying? The video is real. It's not a recording of somebody giving a speech at the United Nations, right? I want the audience to understand what the difference is. It's like, I don't want everybody to go, huh?
There's plenty of examples already on YouTube, and people can go search for some of those videos and look at them, and it'll explain exactly what's going on and give examples. Yeah,
a few years ago when this started to pop up, and certainly I remember early in 2018 where examples of this were out, and the porn industry is doing deep fakes for pornography or whatever. Pornography is always leading the technology anyway. But it was so bad that we were able to just laugh it off. Right? Okay. All right. It's a gimmick. It's gimmicky. It's cool. It's whatever. But today, when you look at that Buscemi Lawrence video, no. You can't tell. You cannot tell. That is just extraordinary. Which takes us to your new book. Let's actually get into this. The title of the book is where I want to start with. It's called Technocracy: The Hard Road to World Order.
Right.
For the audience, where I think that most are going to see the cover of the book and think that you left a word out, right?
That's right. Yeah, there is a lead-in, of course, from the title, and it's this. Back in 1974, there was a early member of the Trilateral Commission, an academic by the name of Professor Richard Gardner. And he was a world-class globalist, if you will, and he wrote a paper for Foreign Affairs Magazine. That's the official organ of the Council on Foreign Relations. The title of his paper was The Hard Road to World Order. And it wasn't, I wouldn't call it a blueprint, but it was staking a flag in the ground as to what the plan would be like to convert the world into what the Trilateral Commission called the New International Economic Order. And so he wrote this paper, and I read it. My writing partner, Anthony Sutton, read it, and we talked about it quite a bit. I needed to finish Gardner's thought in that article because now, 40 plus years later, 45 years later, we have a look backwards. We can do a little forensic analysis looking backwards. What Gardner said was prophetic. What's happened is right on cue. These are the perpetrators who did it, and we know how they did it, and they know how they're setting it up for the future. But this is the conclusion of that article, The Hard Road to World Order. He said, in short, the House of World Order will have to be built from the bottom up rather than from the top down. It will look like a great booming, buzzing confusion. But an end run around national sovereignty, eroding it piece by piece, will accomplish much more than the old-fashioned frontal assault. Close quote.
Right.
That's it. In a nutshell. No more direct confrontation, which they had plenty of them back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. They all failed, or early 70s. They all failed. They said, we need to change tactics here. We need to think about building it from the bottom up instead of the top down and do an end run around national sovereignty, eroding it piece by piece. Doesn't it just inflame you?
It does. And this is the scariest part about all of this is that there is a moral fabric breakdown with the people that control. They don't have a moral compass, and we all sit back and go, you know what? It can't be real. I mean, now surely people don't think this way, but it's the exact opposite, isn't it?
They surely do think this way, and they don't have benevolent intent for us, generally speaking. So Richard Gardner kind of set the tone for what was going to happen, and I offer anecdotal evidence now. Do we live in a day and age that we could describe as a booming, buzzing confusion? Absolutely. This is it. This describes exactly where we are.
Yes, I was with. All right, I can't name names, obviously, but I was with a real billionaire. Okay. And we were having a very deep conversation. And this is back when Obama was trying to get Obamacare through. All right. Okay. So this is 10 years ago. And I said to him, I said, look, I only make so much money per year. I struggle to pay for health insurance, but there are people out there that only make $12,000 a year. And if they have to spend $1,000 a month on health insurance, then how do they eat? How do they pay the rent? How do they buy a car? How do they provide for their family? How do they do anything? How do they pay their bills? And you know what his answer was? Tough. So what? And that's the way the 1%ers think. There isn't a benevolent thought in their body. They don't, and like and I'm not going against or doing anything political, but during the government shutdown and some of the responses out there from the power brokers, which were like, hey, man, go get a loan, sell some of your stock, cash out on something. Wait a minute here. They are so out of touch with what is real. They don't have any good thoughts for the masses. It's not a consideration for them because they don't have to.
That's exactly right. And part of the original Agenda 21 document that came out of the Rio de Janeiro conference in 1992 was a policy, general policy, of global depopulation. And they declared, and it's been declared several times since, that because of limited resources on the planet, that the planet can only support anywhere from 600 million to 1.2 billion people. Now that's somebody's wild, undocumented, unsupported accusation or claim. There's no proof of that, but that's what they say. And therefore, sustainable development, which is a resource-based economic system like it is technocracy. Therefore, if resources run short, what we need to do is curtail the population. Now, they never say how they're going to get rid of 6 billion people.
Right.
But I don't even want to, just the fact that it's brought up that way is enough for me to say, I don't like the way they're thinking here. Well, it may not be me and it may not be you. But you start talking about reducing global population by 85%. This is Hitlerian talk. This is not good.
No, it's not. And there are 2 studies were just released, and I'm sure that you caught them over the last week and a half. And one was about China's population growth, and the other one was about Japan. Mm-hmm. Quite frankly, if they continue and there's no real way to turn things around, they're toast.
Yes, they are.
They are completely toast. There is nobody that will be working in Japan in about 20 years. It's
That's
like
right.
and the same thing happened in China where they wanted, to limit how many births were there. Well, now they are facing the sum of all fears with that. There isn't anybody going to be left to work and support China and Japan. Right now, they are at the tipping point, and they don't have a solution.
Well, they don't. I'm not sure they're looking for one either, by the way. But the demographic curve right now, and in Asia in general, but especially in China, especially in Japan, the demographic curve has collapsed, absolutely collapsed. And they're headed for eventually for extinction. And I say that especially for Japan.
That's right.
They're headed for extinction. And 20 to 30 years from now, I don't know who's going to occupy Japan, but it's not going to be Japanese because they're not procreating.
No, they're not. There isn't a population there to grow up.
No,
and I looked at those numbers, and it was about that's a real wake up call.
Yes, it is.
And now the China or the Japan situation is real. That's a tangible. This isn't something that is a theory or it's an idea or it's a fear. No, these are real hardcore numbers. Yes. And with China, it's the same situation that they find themselves in, but it's on a scale of, times 10 because of the size of China. But they both have infrastructures that need to be supported with workers, and they don't have them.
Well, they're working on automation in China. China is a technocracy, by the way. It's run by scientists and engineers who are engineering society to create a utopia, if you will. And a good example of the social engineering, how broad it is in China, a year and a half ago, a press release came out of Beijing. I have it. I read it. I posted it on technocracy.news because it was so important. And they stated that they were going to move 300 million farmers off of their farms, little family farms that they'd been on for generations, into the cities. And they were going to herd them all into cities, and they were going to appropriate their land in a massive eminent domain land grab, and turn it into factory farming, where they would use robots and the like to farm all their food. Well, there's 300 million people out of 1.4 billion people that are all of a sudden going to be replaced essentially by robots and AI. Now, what will those people do in the cities? Nothing.
Right, nothing.
They have no training.
Right.
They're unemployable by and large. There's no way most of them are going to ever get retrained. And so they'll basically go to the cities to die.
And this is 300 million. That is the population of the United States.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's bodacious. It's audacious. It's absolutely outrageous. But this is the way technocrats think. So China, the leadership of China, is not horribly concerned about population decreasing. They've done everything that they can to actually turn their own demographic curve down. And I would suggest that this is fully in line with the goals of sustainable development to run the population of the world downwards so that there's enough resources to go around. Now, there's no proof. Let me say it right up front. There is no proof that the world is running out of resources right now, or that the usage of resources can't be controlled by normal factors of supply and demand in the free market. No proof whatsoever. They've made this a priori claim that we're going to run out of resources and we're all going to die. That's kind of like Al Gore says about global warming. The polar caps are going to melt and we're all going to die. Well, it hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. But they make the claim and everybody goes, the sky is falling, the sky is falling.
Right.
And, it's ridiculous. But this is the claim they make. So, you wonder what's going on in the Chinese mind, the technocrats, the scientists and engineers that are in charge of engineering their society. They're off the rails, Jimmy. That's the issue. They're absolutely off the rails. They said by the year 2020, that's just 1 year away, they will have installed 600 million facial recognition cameras throughout the country for a population of 1.4 billion. That means there's 2.5 cameras or 2.5 people for every camera. It's inconceivable. You cannot imagine what kind of data they intend to collect. No other country in the world is even close to that, by the way. But this shows you how far off the rails this technocrat thinking is.
And this is and it's the goal too. That's the thing. This is what they are trying. It's not an accidental development that they're stumbling over. This is what they are working towards.
Yes, absolutely. And they've been very open about it. It's not like they've hidden it.
Let's take a break. Patrick, we're right up on it. Let's do it now. Let's take our break. Our guest tonight, Patrick Wood, we're talking about his new book. It's called Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. That's right, the word new is not there. And when we come back, we're going to jump into 5G. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. More with Patrick Wood right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Come join us for the 2019 Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton. This year, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken, and I'll be hosting the panel with Eric, Linda Moulton Howe, Jason Martell, Billy Carson, and join George Norrie, Nassim Haramain, Robert Schock, Daniel Brinkley, Grant Cameron, Julia Mossbridge, and another 50 speakers who will be presenting at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo. Just go to ConsciousLifeExpo.com for tickets and a full conference schedule, or click on the CLE banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Folks, This is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Peggy and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Patrick Wood. We're talking about his new book, Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. You can go to Patrick's websites. He has two, technocracy.news. The links to that are over at jimmychurchradio.com and citizensforfreespeech.org. Again, the links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can just click and head straight over. Patrick, I want to talk about 5G. The warnings about 5G today are everywhere. I'm still 4G. There's some 5G that is out there. But what is really going on? Is this something that we need to be aware of?
Absolutely. This 5G is completely transformative new technology. It's what we call disruptive technology that will literally disrupt entire industries before it's done. 5G is such a quantum improvement over 4G that the leaders of the major telecom companies like AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon and so on, these CEOs and so on have been put on record on video and interviews that the big deal about 5G is that it will literally light up the so-called Internet of Things and enable it on a global basis. And this is not just, in other words, it's not just about the speed of your cell phone, like, 3G, 4G, LTE, and so on. This is going to connect every conceivable device together and also with centralized computers and so on a real-time basis. I honestly don't know how they do that. I have a background in technology. I have not figured out how they have achieved the speed gains that they have. But the major factor measuring speed on internet transactions or traffic is so-called latency factor. Mm-hmm. That's the speed that it takes to get a ping back and forth between two different places. One says, I'm ready to send you data. The other one says, I'm ready to receive your data, and it sends that back. That ping, bing, bing, going out and back typically takes anywhere from 15 to 30 milliseconds on a high-speed internet line today, like in your office probably.
Right.
5G has reduced that latency down to 1 millisecond or less. Plus, once the connection is established, it can pump data at speeds that are literally 10 times faster than the fastest DSL that we have today.
How is that possible?
I don't know, but they've done it. There's been tests that validate the speed and the capabilities of it. Honestly, I don't know how they've done it. It's not trickery. It really is there. And these mucky mucks at the big cellular companies that are implementing 5G, it's in their domain, so that's why they're doing it. They are talking about 5G. They're not talking about cell phones. They're talking about, they're talking about lighting up the Internet of Things for instance, for implementing smart cities with cameras, facial recognition cameras, with sensors, with cars, autonomous cars talking to each other and talking back to the main traffic controller in a given city. They're talking about street sensors, license plate readers, sensors in buildings that monitor every conceivable aspect of the city. This is what the Internet of Things is. And 5G is going to light it up like a Christmas tree. This is why the global elite are hell-bent for leather, if you will, to rush to get 5G installed, and they are ignoring every convention that you can imagine in order to get it done. They are so desperate to get this done that they're ignoring all the health issues that have come up, which I think a lot of them are probably very valid, but they refuse to do testing. Or if they've done testing, they refuse to release the results of it.
Well, we'll get back to the health part of it in a second, because that is one of the biggest concerns, obviously, that I have and others have. But the spin that they are putting on 5G is that forget about hotspots now, forget about dropouts, everything, video, streaming,
yes,
everything, no more cables, no more, you don't have to worry about this, Wi-Fi, it's over with. You're not going to, you're going to have the privacy of, you're not going to have to go into a Starbucks and sign into their Wi-Fi network for a clean situation and jeopardize the data on your phone anymore. You don't have to do that. You're going to have a clean 5G. Everything is going to be absolutely incredible and fast and dropout free, continuous streaming of everything. Remote areas, your access to the internet is going to be just as good in the woods as it is in a city, and that is the benefits of 5G. That's the sell. That's the pitch that they're giving us. They're not telling us the back end.
That's right. And they're not telling you what all this data will be used for. One of Google's subsidiaries called Sidewalk Labs is a smart city technology company. And they have a lot of projects going on implementing smart cities around the country and in Canada as well. And they have a program right now that they just announced to package and sell location data on millions of cell phones. Now, you have to think about this. They say they're going to, what do you call it, de-identify the data, right? So they can't pin it to Jimmy Church.
Right.
But they're tracking cell phones right now with your name. They know who you are. They know where you go. They're going to package this data. They're talking millions of cell phones, and they're going to sell it back to cities. They're going to sell it to corporate interests and stuff that want it, where it can be weaponized against the people that are in that community.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to think of the magnitude of this. They're tracking already, Google is, and of course, Google makes Android, right? That's all the Android phones. They're tracking the location of all these cell phones, where they go, how long they stay, what they do, what's the purpose of their visit, and so on. And when you multiply that on top of, something like 5G comes along, this kind of thing is going to be real time. It's not going to be just, let's collect it over the next 2 weeks and we'll bundle up and sell it. It's going to be real time data. And you take a good sized city, like I live in the Phoenix area. You take a city like Phoenix, it has, I don't know how many millions of people, a bunch. And if you want to model what's going on in Phoenix, once all this technology has been overlaid, they'll literally be able to get a real-time view of what's going on in the city, almost like a living organism. Using artificial intelligence, they'll be able to tell them what it means and what they can do about stuff. If they need to do a little social engineering here or there or whatever, they'll have the data to do it.
I had presented some numbers last week on the show, 2 weeks ago, that right now, currently, Google is operating 20 million servers, right? Okay, now that's a pretty ginormous number. That's a big number. By 2020, 100 million. And it's so when you are talking about these numbers, Patrick, real time data collection, there aren't human beings processing this data, and that would be impossible. You've got to have the computers and the AI and the ability to process all of this data and then use it. That's Google's goal. Ultimately, with Chrome, with Google, with the search engines, combined with YouTube and that data, throw all of that into your smartphone and the Android system where you're probably running Chrome anyway. You're getting into your car that is going to be connected in 5G and in real time. All of this movement, data, searching, locations, is combined with your search habits and what you are reviewing and reading on the internet. All of this is processed, bingo, back in real time. That's a frightening situation we have ourselves in right now, and this is the real world.
It really is. 2 years ago, I said that the powers that be, if you will, technocrats, have managed to master the collection of data. What they had not mastered, in other words, data storage, collection and storage was already in place. What was not in place was the ability to analyze that data for meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So the data was just sitting there, and that wasn't a threat as long as it just sits there. But now, with the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, that data is being analyzed automatically by computer algorithm to decide what to do with it and to decide what should go where and who should do what. This has led a visionary global technocrat, a scholar down in Singapore by the name of Parag Khanna. He wrote a book a couple of years ago, and he summed it up like this. This is stunning thought. He said, "We're building the global society without a global leader. Global order is no longer something that can be dictated or controlled from the top down.
That's right.
He says globalization is itself the order.
And it feeds on itself. And this is the harsh reality of it. It doesn't matter what we are talking about here, sections of technology, whether it's satellites and direct TV and telecommunications and entertainment, the mortgage industry, the banking industry, Wall Street. It doesn't matter, the infrastructure, the nuclear plants. It doesn't matter what segment we are talking about. Nobody understands any of it. There isn't one brainiac that knows about the trading that is going on Wall Street and the complexities of that. No, they don't. It's one layer of technology on layer, on layer, on layer, to the point where now today it's out of control. It actually runs itself in any segment of anything. Radio. It doesn't matter what we're talking about now.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. This is the order of things. It's like Aldous Huxley's book, Brave New World, but it's automated. Instead of having people manage everything, it's automated. And if somebody's scoffing at this thought right now that, well, you guys don't know what you're talking about, listen, I would challenge anybody that's listening to this program to go out next Saturday. No, it has to be on a Saturday or Sunday, a weekend, and try and draw $1,000 out of your bank machine. You won't do it because the national limit is it's like $500. Some banks, most banks are at $300, and a few are at $200 limit for the weekend. That's all you can draw. You can have $1 million in the bank. You cannot get more than that out of the bank in cash on a weekend. Now you can go and complain to your bank on Monday and say, I have $1 million in the bank and I'm insulted. I couldn't get $1,000 out of my bank account when I needed it so bad. And they're going to say, well, we're sorry, that's the rules. Well, I want to talk to somebody. Sorry, there's nobody to talk to. It's just the rules. That's the way it is. The policies are set. The computer is programmed. Bingo.
Right.
And that's it. And you think, well, I'll outsmart them. I'll get what I can out of my bank, and I'll go down to, say, Bank of America down the block. It's not my bank. And I'll put my card in there, and I'll have to pay a little extra fee to get it out, but I'll get a couple $100 out of Bank of America. They'll tell you the same thing. I'm sorry, Mr. Church, but you have exceeded your daily limit. Now, how does Bank of America know what you did over at Wells Fargo?
And what about the opposite?
All the banks are talking to each other.
That's right.
And the algorithm is in place to limit the amount of cash. This is social engineering, to limit the amount of cash you can get out, and it doesn't matter what you have in the bank.
What about depositing? Is that controlled too?
Well, I dare say it is. If you make an e-deposit like they want you to, like electronic deposit, you can pretty much do whatever you want. If you want to deposit cash, you have problems. Because if you walk into a bank, your own bank, you could have a lot of money and they might all know you. If you walk in, say, with $5,000 in cash and you say, I want to deposit this into my account, they're going to start asking questions. And I've had plenty of people tell me this exact thing. Well, where did you get that money? What were you doing? What kind of business are you in? Like it's any of their business, right? But they could report you to the feds for having too much of a cash transaction. And if you go into your bank and say, I want you to give me $10,000. I got a big business transaction. I need $10,000 now, please. I've got $1 million in my account. I need $10,000 in cash. They'll look at you like you're from Mars. Say, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Church, but we simply don't have that kind of cash at our bank, at our branch. We'll have to order it in by armored car.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, why do you want the money?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you traveling anywhere? Like outside of the country or whatever? Well, it's none of their business.
Well, the cashless society part of the equation, which, there are countries out there that are testing this right now. But the cashless society part of it, I have enough fears, and we can visit that in a second. But what's the advantage of a cashless society to the man?
Oh, my gosh. It's a big time. You know, about 40% of the world is unbanked. They don't have a bank account. They can't collect fees from them. You can't get credit card fees and stuff. No plastic fees. So how about all the people in Africa and a lot of them in South America, and a lot of them even in our country still, that are unbanked on purpose. They don't want to be banked. That's why we have all the check cashing companies around to take people take a paycheck, they go in and say, oh, just cash my paycheck. They pay a fee for it, of course, but they get their money in cash. They don't want to be part of the banking system. Well, those people are worth nothing to Visa, MasterCard, American Express, you name it. They're worth absolutely zero. And the plan around the world is to get everybody embedded on plastic. There's an absolute gold mine in forcing these people into the banking system. Not only can exorbitant fees be collected from all these people, but also they can be controlled.
Every single transaction, whether it's with an ATM card, right, where you think you're not paying interest, but there's a transaction fee.
Yep,
right?
there is.
Every transaction on Amazon, every transaction with your credit card, every transaction everywhere. You may pay off your credit card and avoid interest every single month, which is how I run, right? I don't carry a balance over month to month. I don't want to pay an interest rate. That's fine. But I'm still getting hit with transaction fees.
That's right. Every transaction has a fee to somebody. Sometimes it's to you. Sometimes it's to the merchant. But somebody's paying a fee every time that plastic goes click. And you'll notice if you ever read any number of United Nations documents like Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, or New Urban Agenda, you'll find the phrase over and over and over through all of their literature: no person left behind. This just jumped out at me some time ago. It was overwhelming. No person left behind. These people that are pushing for technocracy on a global scale want every single human being on Earth involved in the system because they can be controlled.
So, and this is an observation that I've noticed lately, but you're right. So imagine what we're dealing with in Central and South America or throughout China or in Africa, right? Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then go, and if you don't think that the technology is starting to intrude, go and look at a photograph of any of the lower income slum parts of Rio or in Central and South America, or head over to the Middle East. Every house, every hut, every lean-to has got a satellite dish on it now.
Yeah.
Right. They understand technology. It's not like they're trying to avoid. Well, you know, they want to continue to trade or purchase with cash. That they don't want to get into the banking system, but they still understand technology, and they are still connected, and they are still controlled.
That's right. They are.
The when we come back, we're going to head towards a break here. But when we deal with all of this, then there's another twist, which is cryptocurrencies, which are right now heading towards a pretty serious downturn. But it's also a way for everybody to avoid the banks. Is there, as we come back after the break, you can help me set this up, are the big banks looking to cryptocurrencies only because they want to get back into the control aspect?
No, I think cryptocurrency from the very get-go was part of the plan to implement technocracy around the world. And all of the big banks, including the IMF and the Bank for International Settlements in Switzerland, they're all studying and getting ready to release cryptocurrencies of their own, and it will literally stop the existing cryptocurrencies that are out there.
Well, okay, so that's very, very interesting. The origins of the blockchain, which are shrouded in mystery, that's one point of it. There's a lot of money that was made in cryptocurrencies with anybody that jumped in when Bitcoin was a penny, when Bitcoin was $1, and now those holders of those Bitcoins from the early days are stupid rich, stupid money, right? But now the blockchain, Patrick, this is what I find interesting. The blockchain, the idea behind the blockchain is everywhere now. You can go out and apply blockchain to whatever it is that you are running. You can get your own blockchain, create your own crypto for that matter. Is that technology, the blockchain itself, is that something that you see will be implemented into DirecTV, for instance, or Amazon?
It's going to be everywhere. It's ubiquitous. It's going to be in all kinds of different things. But the idea of blockchain technology as it relates to fintech,
right?
Fintech, that stands for financial technology, right? That's just a contraction of the word fintech. Fintech has been declared to be the financing system for sustainable development on a global basis. Right now, the sustainable development people are estimating it's going to cost anywhere between $30 and $50 trillion to flip-flop capitalism and free enterprise and replace it with sustainable development. Now, that's a heap of money. That's a heap of money that nobody has, by the way. But they're talking about using fintech as a financing mechanism to fund sustainable development and a conversion to sustainable development. That's what makes it worth a look, right? If that's what they say, I want to look at it real carefully and find out.
Right.
And I'll tell you where it leads you back to is the good old National Security Agency, the NSA. In 1997, 3 employees of the NSA wrote a paper. It's publicly available on the internet. The title of this paper in 1997, How to Make a Mint, the Cryptography of Anonymous Electronic Cash. Oh, really?
22 years ago.
Yes. In 1997, this is when the internet was just barely getting going, right? The NSA of all people. Spooks of all spooks, right? They're writing papers about the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. And surprisingly, or no surprise, it was basically the forerunner for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain.
I saw it all
right there.
I saw the writing on the wall when in the gaming community, right? And it doesn't matter what video game, but even back then, where you had to whip, you go and you buy a video game and you install it and you're playing it, but now you've got to whip out your credit card to buy some more tokens go and purchase stuff inside of the game, a better suit of armor, some more ammo, whatever it is. Yeah. But you were using this virtual gaming money that you purchased, and I thought, well, you know what? That's pretty ingenious. I saw it. I saw the whole thing happen. And it was the video gaming industry that gave me the idea for it. But it was just so smart. I was like, man, I need to tap in on some of this. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Patrick Wood. When we come back, we're going to continue all of this. But cryptocurrencies is where it's at right now. We'll continue the conversation right after this short break. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Patrick Wood. We're talking about his new book, and it is called Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. You can head over to Technocracy News, technocracy.news. And, of course, citizensforfreespeech.org. Both links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Patrick, I want to back up the car a little bit to a section of our conversation we had earlier, which was about reducing the population of the world. And, you know, of course, the Georgia Guidestones, you know, pops up, and that is certainly there. But if we brought back the population and shrunk it, how would it, I know this may seem dark to some, but how would it be done? Would it be done through war? Would it be done through disease? How would they do that?
Basically, right now, natural attrition will take us backwards and start unwinding the global population like crazy. You've got, we talked before about the demographic curves being, turned downward because people aren't having babies as much. This is happening all over the world. And so you've got a natural attrition and a natural resistance of people wanting to have babies. Now, on the other hand, you have wars that do take place, whether they're for, specifically for depopulation. I wouldn't say that at all. But wars do take place and people die, and they're not replaced with anybody. So the population shrinks. You have pandemics. You have people getting sick and dying from various things, like Ebola, for instance, that are reducing the population of the world. So I think over time, by the year, if we look out to the year 2050, 2075, the population of the world is going to be significantly lower than it is today. And that's just natural attrition. Now, would anybody want to kind of push Humpty Dumpty off the wall? Maybe with starting a little nuclear exchange along the way? That could happen. But, who knows? The idea is that they're even thinking about it is what's disturbing enough.
Well, how do we, because when we think about this, the global elite won't be making the money that they would be used to. Now, does it matter to them in that we are bred to be consumers, right? We're bred to spend money, use stuff up, and rinse and repeat and do it all over again, and keep this money cycle going to consume and spend. So if that part of it is removed, where's the luxury of the world for them at that point? That's
absolutely. This brings up a great question, and I can make a great point off of it for sure. The idea right now that the Trilateral Commission has had since 1973 was not to try and corral all the money in the world. That is the paper money. Everything was fiat currency after 1974. Mm-hmm. They've sucked everything out of it that can possibly be sucked out, and they know it. It means nothing to be a billionaire today. What they have decided to go after was not just the money, but go directly after the resources themselves. So the whole enchilada with sustainable development is a massive resource grab that will take resources away from you and me and private companies around the world, and put those assets, put those resources into the hands of the global elite. That's the master plan. If you own all the resources, by definition, you are the richest person on earth. Period. That doesn't matter what kind of money's around. If you have the resources, you're rich. That's what this is all about. It's a con game to twist the resources out of private hands like us and into the hands of the quote unquote the global common good, which will be managed by the global elite.
But what about something as basic as the meek shall inherit the earth? What would stop us from just taking it and taking it back?
Well, there's going to be a certain amount of that, I'm sure, where people just go out in the woods and start cutting down trees. But you will be caught. You will be fined, and you may be put in jail or killed. Already, the surveillance system is so intense that people can be seen doing stuff from space or from cameras mounted all over the tarnation right now, including even out in wilderness areas. They can see who's doing what to who and where. You just simply won't get away with it. This is kind of a return, I call it neo-feudalism, where the rich own everything and the poor own nothing. And you basically get to squat on property to try and raise a few pigs or some corn, and the master forces you to give 90% of your take to him. And maybe you can live on what's left. That's kind of the direction we're headed. I mean, it's a very dim view of society right now, but this is where it's headed. And this is not a new thought, Jimmy. There was a book written back in 94 called The Earth Brokers, written by two professors who were direct participants in the United Nations meeting that led up to the Rio conference in 1992 that produced Agenda 21. These guys were principals. They were on the inside, doing and negotiating and talking and meetings and all that kind of stuff. This is what they wrote in Earth Brokers. They warned us. They said, we argue that UNCED UNCED is the United Nations Council of Economic Development or Conference of Economic Development. We argue that UNCED has boosted precisely the type of industrial development that is destructive for the environment, the planet, and its inhabitants. We see how, as a result of UNCED, the rich will get richer, the poor poorer, while more and more of the planet is destroyed in the process. Close quote. They said it just as plain could be.
Right.
That it was a sham. It was a total sham even back then. But nobody listened to these guys, right? They were there. They should have known. There was another group of young people that were involved in auditing all the meetings and stuff. They weren't old enough to be principals, but they allowed them to come in and sit through all the stuff and listen and learn. One young lady got to get up and give a speech at the end of the conference, and she did, to the plenary session of the Agenda 21 makers. And here's what this was just stunning. She said, amidst elaborate cocktails, travailing, and partying, few negotiators realize how critical their decisions are to our generation. She's a young person. By failing to address fundamental issues such as militarism, regulation of transnational corporations, democratization of the international aid agencies, and inequitable forms of trade. And this is what she concluded her speech with. My generation has been damned. And she shut up and sat down. The audience was stunned. Did anybody listen to her?
No.
No, they didn't. It's all been out there. I'm not making this up in 2019, right? This has all been here. We've all had the warning signs. We've all been warned by people like this. Don't believe this garbage. It's a con. It's a scam. It's not going to save the world. It's not going to eliminate poverty, as the United Nations says. It's not going to be jobs with dignity for everyone, as the UN says.
Right.
It's not going to be adequate housing for everyone, as they say. It's going to end up to be a system of slavery for most of the people on the planet. And these people hit the nail on the head way back then. She said, my generation has been damned. And you know what? Her generation was damned, and it's damned to this very day.
The one thing that I don't understand, and I don't understand a lot, but the one thing that just sticks out for all of us, it's very simple. A very small slice of money, a very small slice of what the 0.1 of 1% has on this planet. As it was just revealed last week, 26 people, 26 individuals control half of the money on this planet, and the poorest half of the total wealth on this planet is in possession of 26 people. Now, that's insane. Right. So a very small sliver of that money literally could house, clothe, and educate all of Africa forever. Right?
Yes,
I mean, forever. Yes, it could all be solved. How much money do you really need? You can't spend it. You can't do anything, but they want to collect it. But yet we could fix all the world's problems in the blink of an eye. Literally, all the health care and education and food for all the poorest half of this planet instantly, and nobody cares.
They just don't want to do that, Jimmy. You said it before. They just simply don't want to do it. Like that billionaire you were talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Tough.
I couldn't believe it. I thought that there was going to be some empathy, some sympathy, where, the reaction would be, yeah, you know what, you're right. I get that. Your children should have health insurance. I get it. He was like, so what? Yeah. His answer was so direct in that, man, it's the way that it is. If you don't have it, and in fact, he said to me, if you can't afford it, then you just can't afford it. That's it. You have to do without. And I was like, and I was so outraged by that. But to be honest, that was a way of life. It was just a statement that was, and in his world, he's not concerned about that, and he doesn't care, and that's really the truth. Well, now, so why is it by not? And it was interesting how you said this earlier, by not allowing education and empowerment and food and dignity for the poor of the world, that enables control. That's simply what it is, right? I mean, it's nothing more than that.
Of course. The poor have not gotten rescued at all since 1992. And as they said back then, it says the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer. They saw it. They saw what was going to happen. It's exactly what's happened. The rich have gotten richer. The income equality has grown every single year since 1992. And there's no signs of it slowing down.
With the cashless society, if like for the United States, for instance, if we went cashless, completely cashless, now this is the other part. It sounds convenient, right? You don't have to carry spare change anymore. All right, it's all the ease and everything. Okay, but now the man has the ability to turn you off, right? To flip a switch and literally disconnect you, unplug you from society, and there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do.
And that's right. It's bye-bye. Well, that's kind of what they're doing in China to a small degree with a so-called social credit score that they've introduced.
Which is implemented also through the face recognition software, right? Oh, you weren't that nice last week, right? And you get downgraded. But when you're in a cashless society, and I guess there's like two obvious scenarios here. That you go up to a homeless guy that's outside of a 7-Eleven, and you walk up to him and you go, "Man, how did you get here? You know, what happened?" And he says, "Well, they turned me off 2 weeks ago."
That's right. You're exactly right.
That, and you can't at that point. You have no cash. You can't give him $10, reach into your pocket. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. You can't give him anything because he has been effectively turned off. So there's no way for you to share your wealth with him to help him back on his feet. He's simply unplugged. And that's the big fear of the cashless society. And what about I want your reaction to that, actually. I mean, that's what would happen there, or that's what wouldn't happen. Right?
Well, that's right. If everybody's on plastic, you can't transfer money to somebody that doesn't have plastic.
That's not part of the system.
No, it's not part of the system. You can't do it.
And you run out of gas. You're on the side of the road, and that's it, right? You can't go if you are out of the system and you need to get gas into your car. You can't go and get gas. You're completely stuck.
That's right. That's exactly right. And one of the criteria is it must be electronic. Remember we referenced that paper by the NSA on cryptocurrency?
Yes.
How to make a mint, the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. Listen to how they define electronic cash in that paper. It's just amazing. It says the term electronic cash often is applied to any electronic payment scheme that superficially resembles money. In fact, however, electronic cash is a specific kind of electronic payment scheme defined by certain cryptographic properties. That's a direct quote. And then it goes on, the paper, let's see, the paper is 32 pages long. The word coin is used 188 times in 32 pages. Coin. And the term electronic wallet into which to put your coin is mentioned multiple times. Now, only even a fifth grader could make a comparison of this text to the ultimate release of an actual cryptocurrency. The first one was Bitcoin.
Right.
Say, that's it. And of course, and people have ever since then have been saying, no, that had nothing to do with it. They just wrote this paper and some smart guy got a hold of the concept and said, I think I'm going to do that.
Right. And
that's ludicrous.
Right.
That's absolutely ludicrous.
Now, here's the flip side. A fully electronic, cashless society. Now you've opened up the door for somebody to come in with some EMP pulse. It could be another country. It could be our sun, right?
Yeah.
Comes in and blasts everything out, and there is no more cash. It's all been burned, right? It's all been collected and gotten rid of. There's no more. There isn't anything. And if we get erased, whether it's a natural disaster or something that is sinister, right?
Yeah,
we have nothing.
It's bye-bye.
It's bye-bye. So what becomes currency at that point? Coffee, right?
Well, it could
cigarettes.
But if that happens, obviously, Jimmy, a lot of people are going to die.
Quickly.
I mean, in America, and you take in the big cities, if a big city got hit by an EMP, there's going to be a good percentage of that city is just flat out going to die within a relatively short period of time because nothing is going to work.
2 weeks.
2 weeks probably. Yeah, the water system's not going to work. The sewer system's not going to work. The grocery stores are going to be empty. The trucks won't run to bring more food. I mean, figure it out.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 30 days worth of food stored up. I've got a little more than that. I'm good to go, right? I've got it all stashed, right? But I'm also now a target because I've got stuff.
Yes.
And it won't take long to figure out, hey, that dude hasn't lost any weight. His family's still looking pretty solid, you know, and now... And that's always the big fear. And certainly, you know, in a big city like Los Angeles, where we only have logistics of bringing in stuff on basically 2 freeways, the 5 freeway or the 10. That's it, in or out. The logistics get shut down. It's going to be a matter of days before everything is over with, and that's really the truth. And I don't want to be a fearmonger with all of this, but we have taken the steps of moving into an internet age and technocracy, of doing all of this without a full understanding of the implications for the end game.
Absolutely, and by the way, just to kind of put a capstone on the concept of resources and grabbing resources and, you know, abandoning money and grabbing resources. Most people have never heard this before, but there are 2.27 billion acres of land in America. That's a lot of great acreage, right? 2.7 billion acres. 650 million acres of that is owned by our government. That's a little over 30% of the land mass in America is owned by the federal government. Why does the federal government need to own 30% of our nation?
It was never supposed to be that way either.
Never. This is not constitutional whatsoever. The government is not supposed to own land, period. But they've been acquiring land in a mad frenzy for the last 20 years. To the point now that their portfolio is well over 650 million acres. That's outright ownership.
Why?
Yeah, that's the question. Why? Why do they need it? And this is happening around the world. It's not just here. This kind of thing is happening everywhere. This supports my point that the global elite are going after the resources of the planet to take them out of your hands and my hands and put them into the so-called global common trust for their own enjoyment and use.
Well, going back to my point, you know, EMP or whatever, what becomes currency after everything is erased? Well, gold doesn't. You can't eat gold, right?
No,
you can't. You can't eat gold, but you can eat chocolate, right? Yep. Resources,
right? There you go.
Right. That and how would you control the masses? You wouldn't control them with money. They're not interested in your money. They can't do anything with it.
That's right.
They need the resources. They need the food. They need the water. They certainly would need cigarettes and coffee. Can you imagine the value of coffee in a world? Man, if I got a headache that's lasted for 7 days, somebody's going to get hurt over a cup of coffee.
Probably so, if there's any coffee available at all.
That's right. Hey, I don't have any coffee. I'm telling you, no, there's no coffee at Casa de Church. I ain't got no coffee and cigarettes.
No coffee here.
No coffee, no cigarettes. But yeah, it's you're absolutely right. That's a crazy way to look at it. It's not about money. It's not about gold. It's not about uranium. Well, maybe bullets. Bullets may be valuable. But you are going to be interested in what is going to keep you and your family alive. And if you control that and you control the resources, you control all of that, that's where the real wealth is. Very interesting. Right. Very interesting. And also, we're going to head towards a break here. But if some catastrophe happened that was nuclear related, where everything on this planet gets degraded from nuclear fallout, I don't understand why the elite would be interested in living underground for the next 10,000 years. I don't understand what the advantage is of that. I've often thought that the threat of nuclear war is what controls the masses, that nobody would ever actually pull the trigger because they're not going to want to live underground, are they?
No, but there is an awful lot of underground billionaire bunkers being created around the world, aren't there?
Yeah, I know. And I've often said, Patrick, if you really want to know when the doo-doo's about to hit the fan, it's when Oprah disappears. Right?
Absolutely.
When all of the elite is suddenly packing up and heading to the hills, that is an indication of something foul about to happen.
Probably so.
Let's take a break right here. Let's see. Where am I at? I'm on that button. I've got buttons I got to press here, Patrick. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Patrick Wood. We're going to go through the next segment. And then at the bottom of the hour, Patrick, you want to take some phone calls?
That would be great.
Let's do that, too, as well. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com, dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Pulling down guitars off the wall here. Maple neck Strats. Yes. Like one of these right here. See? Maple. Eddie played Maple, and I went to Maple, you know, you remember back in the old days, right? Remember this? Van Halen 1, right? Maple neck. And I jumped over to Maple, and that's just the sound. That's my sound. Maple is the sound. Sorry about that, Patrick. Twitter is talking guitars, and there you go. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions here that I actually want to jump into, still in the theme of the conversation. Oh, and Fintech. Oh, by the way, so back in, this is, okay, forget about the dates. But I have a friend in the alcohol industry, and I remember this whole conversation. We were talking about money and transactions and structures of companies, and he mentioned Fintech to me. Yeah. And what Fintech does. Not your Fintech, the alcohol industry's Fintech. And are you familiar with Fintech in the alcohol beverage side of things?
Well, not specifically, but
okay.
Tell me.
Check this out. Fintech is the one source solution for your alcohol business. They process alcohol invoices for $29 billion in payments annually. Right?
Wow.
Right? The Fintech system has reinvented this is what is bizarre because it applies to everything that we are saying right now. They reinvented the alcohol data and payment process for customers all across the United States. And they process like, they've got, I don't know how many customers, but they do like 500 million transactions a year, like some crazy amount of money, and for $29 billion in payments annually. But it's all electronic, right? And they control everything, and they're called Fintech.
That's right.
Yeah, totally bizarre.
Financial technology, payment systems.
Now, what do you make of this? Comes in from Casper Parks, the author. He just tweeted this out. He says, "What does Patrick think of the permanent electronic tattoos or implanted, biochips, RFIDs, for identification, banking, and healthcare, and so forth?
I don't think those are going to matter a hill of beans for a number of reasons. The first big one is facial recognition has got you identified 6 ways to Sunday. Secondly, you have your DNA, you have your iris that is being mapped. You can actually be identified now by the way you walk. Your gait, in other words, is identifiable. Apparently, they can get it down to like 90% accuracy. So there's 89 different ways, literally, to identify you without having to resort to some physical thing under your skin. It wouldn't be any better than what they have right now. And you'll see, and you're seeing it right now, where banks are starting to implement facial recognition on the ugly teller machines.
Yep.
You'll walk up and you say, put your face here or stand here, and it'll say, as after it recognizes you, see, welcome back, Mr. Church. Long time no see.
Well, you see, and going back to our 5G conversation, right? You go up to a vending machine. Forget about forget about being chipped.
Yeah.
Right? Literally, it's going to look at your face and transaction is done. Enter the product that you want.
That's right.
Airports, airport security. And, we thought we had an invasion of privacy with the scanning. Well, everything could be done in real time. 5G connection done. Facial, the gate that you were just talking about, I did read about that. But having that, the RFID, that idea behind it, which was the big scare that we went through, we've leapfrogged completely past it.
Yes, we have leapfrogged it.
And the bio side of it, the facial recognition, that again, fingerprints or hand scanning, all of that, that's like yesterday, right? We're talking about passé stuff. It's all going to be instantaneous, reading your face, 5G networks everywhere. They're going to know who you are, where you are, and what you are doing from the moment that you wake up and go to work to when you come home. They're going to know everything.
That's right. And Amazon has opened a store called Amazon Go. The first pilots were up in Seattle, of course, where Amazon's based, but they're rolling them out across the country right now. And they kind of resemble small convenience stores, except they carry most grocery products you'd expect to have. And you walk in through a turnstile with your smartphone. It recognizes your smartphone as belonging to you and having money transaction capability, Apple Pay or whatever. And it recognizes your face, identifies you to your smartphone so somebody else didn't steal it and walk in and want to buy stuff. There's no cashiers in a store, none. You walk through the store and put stuff in your basket. It's watching you every single inch of the way. When you take something off the shelf and put it in your basket, it runs that on your tab instantaneously on your phone that's still in your purse. And when you walk out of the store with whatever groceries you have bagged up, it automatically charges your electronic account for those groceries, and there was no human being involved. And along the way, cameras monitor everything that you do to tell what products you picked up and put back, how long you looked at the label, the patterns that you took as you walked through the store. What did you think was most important? Where did you go first? They are slicing and dicing you 18 different ways, and yet people worry about RFID. Are you kidding me? It's like there's no RFID here. They got you nailed.
And as you walk out, your bill is paid.
Your bill is paid by the time you get through the door.
Wow.
Automatically. You don't have to do a thing. Just walk out the door.
In a weird way, I'm kind of okay with that. In a weird way, I'm kind of okay with that. The whole system can be completely abused, and absolutely, The fact that when I get today, I mean, this is real technology. When I get in my car, right? I get in my car and I start it up. Pretty much, Google knows where I am going to and what I am about to purchase.
Yes.
They absolutely know that. It freaks me out. And I talked about this last year. It started last year. My smartphones, and this happened on both Android and Apple. Now I'm an iPhone user now. But I noticed something strange that started, and it was an algorithm that was fired up. I'd never seen it before, but I get in my car and I'm driving to coast. I'm going to work, right? It's a Friday night. And I get in my car, start it up, and burp, I get a text message. And I turn down and I look at it, and it said, 11 minutes to Premier Radio. Now, wait a minute here. Let's stop for a second and analyze this. I talked about it for 20 minutes on Coast that night when I got there. But let's analyze what just happened. How does it, what if, okay. What if I wasn't going to Coast? What if I was driving to Target? What if I was going to a restaurant? What if I was meeting friends across town? Okay, but that's not the point.
Sure.
The point is I was going to Coast, right?
That's right.
And it gave me the drive time. Also, directions were popping up, and it also said traffic was clear. Now, what is going on? Let's analyze this. The time of day. Obviously, it knows that every Friday night or Saturday night at this time, my car starts and I'm driving to one place and one place only. I'm going to Premier Radio.
And was it on your calendar?
Right? No. See, that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
They're tracking me through GPS. They know when my car is starting up and when my phone is locking in to my car and signing in. It knows all of this. It's been tracking my movements, and it knows that every Friday or Saturday night over the past 6 months or a year, I am doing the exact same thing. Well, obviously the AI has now caught up, and this little bot is running, and on this particular day, it's now fired up. Now I get the message all the time, but isn't that bizarre?
It's bizarre, and this is exactly where the surveillance is going. Predictive analysis, by the way, is a big thing with technocracy right now. It's happening all over the world. Police departments are buying AI software that allows them to do pre-crime analysis, kind of like the movie. Remember, what was that movie called back in around 2002? I can't remember the name of it right now.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
About pre-crime.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise movie. They think they can predict where crime is going to happen before it happens.
That's right.
It's like, oh, that's interesting. So if they think you, for whatever reason, analyzing all your data, if they think that you, Jimmy Church, is going to go off the rails and do something really bad, you could well be met by a squad car before you get out of your driveway. Hey, what's up, Mr. Church? We got a report here. You could just, we're watching you, buddy.
I know. And I have the analysis that happens now with computers on our individual, the amount of data that we create each day, whether you think you do or you don't, it's about 600 megabytes of data that you are creating. There's about 1,000 little data connections that happen between your cell phone and Google all day long. They're looking for specific things. They collect that, goes into a file. And everybody in this country, every single, it doesn't matter if you're a day old, you are now in the system, and they start accumulating these files on you. And the analysis of what you are doing throughout your day, your purchase habits, the food that you eat, the gas, the things you drive, all of that is sent in and collected all day long and analyzed. And there is no way to get out of it, is there? Is there any privacy anymore? Is there any way to get yourself out of the system?
Privacy has been broken in little pieces. There is no such thing anymore as privacy. The only question at this point is, will the people accumulating your data weaponize that data to be used against you? That's the only question that remains. And so far, it doesn't look good that it is being weaponized and used against us. That's the problem. And I'll say, by the way, I love technology. I know you do too. I love technology. I've been in it. I've been steeped in it for 40 years. And I love the latest and greatest thing of, you name it. I love it all. And what I don't love is when technology forces me to serve it. I like it to serve me. It should serve me. I want it to make my life easier, more intelligent. I want to do things. I want to be more productive. I want technology to serve me, Patrick Wood. I don't want technology to come along and say, you're serving me now, Buster. You'll do what I say, Buster. I blow the whistle right there. That's enough. That's it. I'm out of here, as far as technology is concerned.
But even if you were like Ted Kaczynski, right, and you moved to Montana and build yourself a cabin in the woods with no electricity, that's not good enough anymore. You're not out of the system. It's not. And by the way, I hate to even bring this up, but since you did, I'll just make a comment on Ted Kaczynski, because I was living in California at the time of the Unabomber escapade. Right.
If you go back and read Kaczynski's manifesto, you will find that he had discovered technocracy. And it set his hair on fire. And that's why he was bombing.
I remember reading
various engineers.
That's right. I remember reading his manifesto. I was living here in Southern California at the time too.
Yes.
And I read that manifesto, and I thought to myself, it was the scariest part about it for me. I was like, this is a really smart dude.
Smart dude.
This wasn't a crazy, delusional, crazy, off the rails. I remember reading that, and I was fascinated with it.
Yes.
Fascinated. And this is the other thing. I'll say it. Nobody else will. It wasn't. I remember the day that this went down. I was traveling. I was flying all over the country each week. I was getting on a plane on Monday, flying interflights, and then getting myself across the country, and then turning around, getting back to Los Angeles on a Friday. And I lived my life like that for about 5 or 6 years, traveling. Well, right. So I was acclimated. I knew every airport in the country. I knew every hotel. I was a card member for every single thing that you could participate in. But there was, up to that point of Ted Kaczynski, you could walk on and off on a plane. You would never get searched. Your bags never got searched. There was no issues with anything. There was no lines for anything. And then suddenly Kaczynski comes along, and I was up in Sacramento, and I'm flying back to Los Angeles, and it was on that day that they implemented the searching of all baggage, right?
Wow.
And I was so offended by it. And they said, and they wanted me to open up my laptop and turn it on. I said, no, absolutely. You are not. That's my dirty underwear. You're not going to open up. I literally said these words. You're not going to open up and go through my dirty clothes in front of everybody here, and I'm not turning on my computer. Sir, please step aside. I was like, whoa. I don't think you get it. Well, anyway, after that, life changed in airports, and it was because of Ted Kaczynski. Yes, a homegrown, this wasn't some terrorist thing. This wasn't some off-planet. This wasn't some, Middle East. No. It was Ted Kaczynski that changed the world for us. And I remember to the day when it happened, and it's never been the same ever since.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But Kaczynski saw it. He did the wrong thing. You can't go out and kill people.
No, you can't. You can't.
But he did the wrong thing, but he had it right. He understood technocracy and what science and engineering was doing to society and to the world.
And we were willing to give up our freedoms.
That's right.
You know, and I wasn't. I was so inflamed by the whole thing. But what I did see is I had people coming up to me going, "Hey, man, you don't understand. You know, we need to do this. Just let them search your luggage." You know, I'm talking about passengers, right?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And I was like, are you really ready to do this? You know, of course, 9/11 happened, and that certainly changed the game. But we were willing to, Patriot Act, right? We were willing to just give up everything. It was so funny how quick we tapped out. And we tapped out really, all the fundamental things that we held so near and dear, Patrick, right? We gave it all up. We were willing to just go. It was go time.
Yep, it was. I still have to bite my tongue every time I go through any airport security because I have to fly. Sometimes I just absolutely have to fly. There's no other way to get there. But I have to bite my tongue knowing that my makeup, the way I am, if some TSA agent feels me up the wrong way, I'll drop them like a hot rock right there on a spot. And I'll be thrown in jail.
Yep.
I have to bite my tongue where it almost is bleeding.
You can't even, body movements will get you.
I know. It will.
You have to watch. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But, and what about when we talk about anonymity these days? Even on the internet, do VPNs, virtual, privacy and Tor and the dark web, are we invisible there, or is that just a pipe dream?
It's a pipe dream. By and large, it's a pipe dream. Your machine can be identified, whether it's your phone, your computer, whatever, your laptop, your tablet. Your machine can be identified by its electronic signature anywhere you go. You cannot erase that.
And with 5G coming in too as well. Oh, we didn't discuss the health issues of 5G. Mm-hmm. But once you are in a 5G world, are you completely pinpointed the electronic signature is there and that is it? There isn't probably a way out of it in a 5G situation.
There isn't. And like we said, privacy is shattered completely. Unless you just quit using computers altogether, and even then they can track you with facial recognition cameras and stuff like that, license plate readers for your car, to at least know where you're going. And of course, they have all your financial data. If you buy and sell stuff in a store, groceries, whatever, they have all those records at their disposal too. So you can say, well, I'm just not going to go on my computer anymore. Well, you're still being identified, and your data is still being stolen. But for those who use a computer, you touch that computer keyboard, you're open for identification right there.
You bring up a really good point, and let me. I'm getting. I'm just opening up the phone lines here. Anyway, let's say, let's go in this direction. Let's say that. Let me do this. Okay. Let's say toll booth, running a red light, license plate recognition, and you're saying to yourself, well, I don't have a cell phone, right? I don't have a cell phone, so they don't know. They don't know where I'm at. They can't track me. With facial recognition now and cameras that will be 5G, Internet of Things, and this ability to do any of this in real time, they know who you are. They know what toll booth you ran. They know what light you ran. They know what you stole from the store. They know, right? Anything like that at this point, you're walking up the street. Well, I don't have a cell phone. They not only do they know how many people are walking up the street, but they know where you are, where you lived, and if you paid your taxes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just a crazy example. Let's just fast forward into science fiction a little bit here, 10 years down the road, and let's say you've been a bad boy, and you've gone through several or a particular toll gate say 10 times without paying, right?
Right.
You just kind of crash the gate. This happens.
Right.
But they take note of you every time you do that. So let's say the 11th time you come through the gate, you're driving in your new self-driving automobile, whatever it might be, a Tesla or an Uber or something like that. What are you driving along? And your car crashes the gate again, and it takes another picture of you. No phone. They just take a picture of your face through the window. And it concludes that, there goes Jimmy Church. We got him this time. He owes us 10 clicks, and he's going to pay. And all of a sudden, your self-driving car is simply reprogrammed to self-drive you to the police department.
Right. Or to pull over and have the police pull up behind you.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
You think that can't happen?
No, that would definitely kill switch. Your car dies, and you can't drive any further until you swipe your credit card on the dashboard.
That's right.
Yeah, man, I've totally thought about that. And, well, okay, you just brought up tolls. I brought up taxes, right? What if you go out and you get in your car and you're driving and that, suddenly, it takes control, it pulls over to the side of the road and just dies. You're like, what's going on? And then you get the text. Mm-hmm. Okay, man, you didn't pay your taxes the last 3 years. So if you want to continue driving to work, right? And that's where we are at. It's a scary thought, but they have control of you. It's one thing to turn off your bank accounts, right? And they take all of your money out of your account. That's one aspect of it, but in the other view of it, if they have total control of everything, your car, right? You go what if they turned off your refrigerator? Right, turned off your refrigerator. You want your food back? Well, you owe us some money.
You've got 3 hours before your freezer defrosts.
Yes. Right. Or, take away your TV. Not anything.
Hey, you're getting personal now.
That's right. It's a crazy thought. Let's take a break right here. And when we come back, let's open up the phone lines and let's take some phone calls. Our guest tonight, Patrick Wood. We are talking about his new book, Technocracy, The Road to the World Order. We'll be right back after this short break. If you're on hold, stay right there, and we'll start taking phone calls next. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
And you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi folks, CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. We're going to be taking phone calls now. Phone lines are open. 747-228-2051. I just got an email, and this is from Laura. She says, check this out, Patrick. She says, hey, Jimmy, recently saw about 20 billionaire new homes built on a smaller spring-fed lake in northwest Montana. The escape haciendas have been built. Huge homes. The owners maybe visit 1 or 2 weeks per year. Yeah, very, very interesting.
That's right. I've seen pictures, inside tours of homes like that are mostly underground. And you can live in luxury underground with virtually unlimited resources.
I would hate that. But then again, I broadcast underground every single night of the week. So there you go. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Patrick Wood. Who's calling?
What's up, Pat?
Hey, who's this?
Mike from Point Doom.
Mike from Point Doom. How you doing, man? What have you got for Patrick tonight?
Hey, Pat, just wondering, with things like Kenner and other things like NYC, when you're seeing blue beams and things like this used on the Cal fires, what is it going to take? And I'm really positive about people waking up, but it seems like no matter if it's in your face or not, people have a way of not wanting to accept things that are pretty valid and hard to debunk.
Well,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Patrick, before we get back to that, are you referring to, Mike, natural disasters and weather control?
You know what, brother? Yes, absolutely, Jim. Bluebeam is used all over. The patents go back for ages and ages. It seems very interesting that no one picks up on the wood doesn't burn, the metal melts without the fuel being able to reach a temperature that would allow that to melt. 80-mile-an-hour firenados, as they call them, that are going back up the vortex from which they were created.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And thank you for the phone call, Mike, and enjoy the rest of your night. Patrick, the thought of the man attacking their own citizens for their own gain, right? Weather manipulation. I really tripped on the amount of hurricanes and how much suffering there was the year before last. Right. But these natural fires the fires that happened here on the West Coast a few months ago, they were just brutal. But is it possible that our own government or the elite would do something like that against their own population?
Honestly, I'm gonna say probably not, and we very well could be proven wrong in the future if some hard evidence comes out. But there's a tendency for people who are given over to conspiracy thinking to take a radical event like a fire, like the horrible fires. I used to live up in the Campfire area in Northern California. I know that area quite well. It was a tragedy what happened. But the tendency to jump to conclusions that there was some other, almost paranormal type thing that went on. Some people claim that, well, it was directed energy weapons that were fired at these communities to burn up houses but leave the water hydrants standing or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's no evidence of this. This is the problem. There is zero hard evidence that this is what happened. And I pretty much reject stuff that doesn't have hard evidence beside it. It's just, I used to tell my kids when they're growing up, they hated me for it, and they still do. I used to tell them, you cannot know what you do not know.
What? That's okay, true. Okay. Now, let's take it up one level of sinisterdom. Okay?
Yeah.
What if it wasn't us? What if it was a Chinese satellite? Instantly firing a laser from space and causing a little spot fire. Now that, the Japanese were sending, balloons over during World War II trying to cause, forest fires on the western part of the United States. The idea, the germ of the idea is there. So what about something like that, where a country that's got a weaponized satellite up there, we certainly don't know everything that is sent, but up into space, but just a simple laser starting a spot fire?
Sure. You could, of course, this is easy to speculate about such a thing, and it is plausible. But again, I say I will reserve judgment until I see hard evidence. And the reason I say that is I've only got so many hours in a day that I can deal with anything.
Right.
By processing time.
Right.
There's enough things that I know are true, that are demonstratably true with hard evidence, that I need to worry about and be concerned about, versus things that I really don't know and I can't know until a whistleblower comes forward or somebody comes forward with some hard evidence. And in the case of PG&E, just as an example, I know that area quite well, and I happened to be staying, or he was at my house when those fires were taking place, the campfire, and he was the fire captain up in Paradise for 20 years. He knew the area like the back of his hand. He knew practically everybody in town. He serviced that area for years, and he's told me about all the history with PG&E and how sloppy they were up in that area with all the I don't know, I forget what percentage of fires he said, but a bunch of fires had been started by PG&E, that's Pacific Gas and Electric, if you don't know, and they were responsible for a bunch of fires, and they always got fined by the state of California for to pay for the damage that was caused by their dumb fires. Well, the campfire was started by sparking lines, they're high wire type lines. There was a very heavy wind, and there's a cleared area on either side of the big poles. The wind was so strong that as the the power lines were sparking up high, the wind blew the sparks down into the forest where there was forest and underbrush and stuff, and started the campfire. Now, there were people that lived up there that had been reporting those sparks for 2 days before the fire started. Did PG&E listen? No. So the fire started, burned the town down, billions of dollars in damage. And now, if people have been watching PG&E in the news, they're on the ropes, filed for bankruptcy because they cannot possibly pay all the claims that they're being leveled at them for having destroyed this town. Well, that's pretty hard demonstrable evidence that PG&E was at the bottom, at least, of the campfire. And I can't speak for the one in Southern California, but in the case of the campfire, it's pretty much case closed. PG&E did it. Sloppy work. They deserve everything they get. You know, it's just, yeah. And they're going bankrupt.
Yeah. And I haven't been able to pin down the liability issue with that. You know, with they've claimed liability, but in filing the bankruptcy, is that protecting them for paying out? You know, a lot of people died, and does that clear them of any financial liability? It's one thing to admit to it.
That's right. And they will say you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip in the end. But they did say, by the way, that if they had to pay for all the claims that are against them, they would have to they'd have to quintuple electric rates in California.
Yeah, I saw that too as well. It's very interesting how they managed to wiggle out of that. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live and Fade to Black. Say hi to Patrick Wood. You're live. You're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Hi.
Who's calling?
Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia. Say hi to Patrick.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. It's kind of weird.
Okay, but you're live on the air now, Cynthia.
I know that, but that just caught me off guard. So, hi.
Okay, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, I have a question, and my question is, how are you guys doing?
Okay, Cynthia, we're live on the air right now. So, valuable airtime. So, what do you have for Patrick, real quick?
No.
Okay, Cynthia.
I don't know.
Okay, you need to call in and be prepared next time around. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Say hi to Patrick.
Arthur.
Arthur, how are you?
I want to say very quickly a few things. I'm really happy to be on your show, and thank you for taking my call. I do research for a living. I do title research. I'm a landman.
Okay.
And I have come across lots of very interesting information during my 13 years of doing research. And you're right. The elite do not care about us. I have met billionaires. I have sat with them. And they do not think anything of us. They don't care about its history. And when you Google China, they admit by 2050 that their population will be decreased significantly. Crypto Jew is a thing. I'm a crypto Jew. I found out that I am. I'm the first descendant of the first colonists of the state of Texas.
Okay. Continue.
Oh, I can continue for hours. I'm a Sephardic Jew. I have found out the star of Lone Star, Texas, has roots in Jewish roots. The first coin ever printed in Texas was by my ancestors under Spanish rule. And the first coin has the star, the crypto Jewish star, the 6-pointed star on it. It's actually a 5-pointed star, but the six point is a dot in the middle, and it shows it on that coin. Texas history is a lie, and I know the truth. I have documents to prove it.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, you just offended, every Texas listener on this show. But do you have a question for Patrick?
Well, what do you know about crypto Jews and the Sephardic Jewish connection?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Arthur, but Patrick?
I don't either.
Yeah, you lost me on that one, Arthur. But there you go. Thank you for calling. And this is what I find really interesting with that is with everybody, Patrick, and I'm one of these. When you go down a road, right, and you find that rabbit hole and you go down it, you will find information that will take you in any direction that you want to go. And in Arthur's case, it's the history of Texas and that it was a lie. Well, that's what the internet has done with this today. You know what I mean? You are able to, if you throw some information out there, the world is a very big place. You will attract certain people that you would never know. That maybe maybe you are the collector of toothpicks, right? Toothpicks. There can't be that many out there, are there? Well, go ahead and just do a little search or post something up, and the next thing you know, you have got 10,000 people in your group that are all interested in wooden toothpicks. It's really crazy.
Yep. It is.
All right, let's go. Let's go here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. See, they're listening to the delay. You got to turn me down in the background. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Yeah, hello. This is Fred from Montreal.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. Hello, Patrick.
Hello.
Hello, very good show. I got one question. Okay, we mentioned that they wanted to depopulate the planet. There were too many for them. We talk about the stone in Georgia, mentioning that they want to depopulate to 500,000 people. Do you have an idea when they want to do it? Why haven't they done it yet? What are they waiting for?
Well, we touched on this earlier a little bit. The demographic curve in many countries around the world is already pointed downwards. In other words, this population has stopped growing, it's rolling over, and population is going to naturally contract in the next 20 to 50 years. This is a fact. I mean, demographers that analyze that sort of stuff have published papers on this. It's absolutely a solid fact that the demographics are turned downwards all of a sudden. So there's going to be a natural attrition on population.
Okay, so they're not in a hurry. They're not like saying, okay, there are too many of them right now. We got to get rid of them. We got to make our plan, a bomb, a vaccine, a virus or something. So they're going to go with the long run. So they're very patient in this plan then.
Well, of course they are. They've been at it for 50 years already. So what's another 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's that's the thing with all of this is that Patrick's research, which started when we talk about the Trilateral Commission and the information that was official that was coming out in 1973. You have to think about how long ago that was now. That's 45 years ago. And we don't realize that. And here we are today. And I talked to Patrick about this probably 3 months ago. But very simply put, 1995, when we were dealing with the Internet 1.0, and we thought we had advanced with computers and laptops were just starting to come out, and we thought we were on the edge of all this brilliant technology. In 5 short years, between 1995 and the year 2000, everything changed. We had no idea. I'm talking about everything from Napster and online music to cell phones to smartphones to streaming audio, flat screen TVs. Remember, 1995, we didn't have flat screen TVs. By the year 2000, record stores were out of business. DVDs were a non-issue. Everything changed. GPS, our cars, in 5 short years, and we were not ready for that. We were simply not prepared for how quick The internet was going to take over infrastructure, electrical systems, cars, logistics, trucks, the trucking system, payment plans, stores, storefronts, online purchases.
Yeah, but
it all happened.
They were.
That's my point. But that's exactly.
Yeah, they were ready. Oh, yeah.
That's exactly my point. We thought it was all fun and games. We thought it was all fun and games. We thought it was all great, and this is just great. And we were not prepared for what actually happened.
Yeah, I think they've been trying before. I heard. I'm going to finish on this. I read a while ago that they did try to depopulate us back in the 60s with nuclear weapons. They were trying to make up a war, so they gave a reason to launch the weapons. But the good ETs. This is it's a theory, but I heard that the good ETs would not permit this because a bunch of guys wants to blow the whole place up, and when 8 billion people would just want to live their life, have their experience. So I heard that the good ETs got involved, shut down all the weapons, break down their plans, so they were never able to launch those weapons. And then they tried with Ebola, Zika, AIDS, the chemtrails, the fluoride. They've been trying real hard to kill us, but they can't. So
yeah, I hear you, and thank you for the phone call, by the way. But I'm in disagreement with a couple of points, and the one thing that I have said over and over again, there's just no way that we're going to go through a nuclear war. It's not going to happen. I'm not talking about ET interference. That's a possibility. I'm just saying that we are better than that, and nobody wants to ruin this beautiful blue planet. And I think that this is a great time to be here, and life has never been better for all of us. I just don't think that we're going to run it in the ground. That's my take. But maybe I just run around with flowers hanging out of my pockets, Patrick. But that's just me. We got time for one more phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, Jimmy. This is Tony from Northern California. How are you?
Hi, Tony from Northern California. What's on your mind tonight? Say hi to Patrick.
Patrick, how you doing?
Hey, Tony.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. I'm a local Sonoma County resident since 1983. I was at Ground Zero in Coffee Park, digging out my buddy's ashes, remains, and trying to find their wedding rings from their grandmothers. They were married about 5 years, and everything absolutely gone, left with the clothes on their back, no cell phones, no shoes, nothing. And we were given time to dig everything out. The local hardware store provided sifters and shovels and whatnot. And luckily, the second to last day, they found the wedding rings. Cool. And a good story short, but everything devastated. The house is still leveled. And but sidebar, I'm a chauffeur here in the last 20 years, and so when I take folks to a winery, I sit in the limo for 6 hours, and I take folks to one winery, and I sit in the car for an hour and a half. So I have 2 phones on YouTube. Jimmy, long-time listener, great show, love your show. Love you, man. Thanks for all your inspiration. Side note, I also was at Ground Zero digging out the ashes, and just so happened I came across a bunch of coins he collected in a 5-gallon glass jar that fell from the bedroom into the garage. I had a big magnet, a neodymium magnet, 35-pound full magnet, and I was pulling up change in the colander sifter, and I noticed these pinhole holes inside of the quarters, nickels, dimes, quarters. I mean, everything was melted completely to nothing. And this change was heated so hot, it looked almost like little pancakes, like little, a little thicker in the middle, a little thinner on the edges.
Right.
But these pinholes were like 1/8 of an inch thick, 3/6 of an inch thick. Some looked like they exploded from the inside out, almost like a bullet, like shooting through, like a typical, like a slow motion, or you see like a fruit. Someone shoots a slow mo through a fruit. And I had these pictures. I showed them people. I showed them the fire chiefs. I've had fire captains at tenants at my house, and we're also at the same site and saying this fire just burnt too hot. There's no way. You go to the pictures from a prior fire, Middletown, which got burned down twice, and it's a video website called grasswire.com. And these guys were at the Middletown, like the day afterwards. Everything's still smoldering. And then you start raising your eyebrows like, okay, how come the plastic is not melted? How come...
Well, Tony, let me jump in because we've only got about 2 minutes left. What are you suggesting?
Okay, well, everyone's talking about DEWs. Everyone's talking about, you know, how can this fire burn so hot? And I've showed this to 2 fire captains, retired. They teach at the JC. They've seen fires. They've been on fires. And what I showed them scared them. Like, wow, can you send me that? Can you email me that? And I'm like, sure. But if everyone goes to grasswiremiddletownfire.com, it's a short video about 3, 4, 5 minutes. You'll see like signs, like stop signs that are like blown off the pole, and just the bolts are like, you know, they're like severed. Like this a super duper energy pulse weapon, something like is only selectively taking down certain parts of the architecture, of the landscaping. You see a pickup truck just melt to the ground, the rims melt to the ground, but the bush next to it is completely green. The trees next to it are completely green.
But I've witnessed, Tony, I've witnessed that myself during an earthquake, and it was completely natural. I was standing on the side of the road in Northridge watching this huge 100-foot flame out broken gas line, natural gas, that's burning on Rinaldi Street. I was right there. Burned out cars all the way up the street, but the houses didn't burn down. You know, and so naturally this kind of stuff can take place. But listen, Tony, we're at the end of the line here, so I've got to say goodnight. Tomorrow night's Fader night.
I got one big eyebrow raiser, Jimmy, to show you. It's like a red car in a parking lot. And the right side of the car is laser cut off, like the door. You can see the hinges. You can see like the interior, like material. But the rims, the tires, and the glass windows are intact. And just 10 feet away, there's an Escalade that melts to the ground. Everyone check that out. And hopefully you check it out, Jimmy, at grasswire.com. And if you look at the Coffee Park fire, look at the Mountain Mike's pizza sign next to the Kmart burned up. The sign is all plastic, completely fine.
Okay, Tony, behave and be well. I don't want to be rude, but I got to go. We're going to get signed off the network here in 30 seconds. So have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow night. And, you know, Patrick, this is the thing when we're dealing. Oh, by the way, I got a text from George Norrie a few minutes ago. Saying a great conversation tonight with Patrick, and the phone calls were lovely. And so George is getting ready to go on Coast to Coast. Right now, he's listening to Fade to Black. That's just too funny. So anyway, he says hello. But this is what is, when you hear stuff like that, Patrick, I'm wondering what others are thinking as they think about this dirty subject. But where are they coming from, these directed energy weapons? Where are they coming from? Outer space, helicopters, airplanes? You got to think a little logically exactly right.
Here. And if there were such a directed energy weapon being used, it would be detectable. And I'm sure somebody would have detected it. So I mentioned before, a good friend of mine, a retired fire captain from that area up in Paradise. That was, of course, the campfire, not the coffee pot fire. Mm-hmm. But he explained what happened in that fire in particular, that the winds were so strong that the campfire turned into what's called a crown fire instantly. That means the top of the trees were burning. And the wind blew, it whipped up and it blew the fire along the crown of the trees. And as it came over the town, since the tops were burning, all of a sudden the fire and the pieces of things that were lit all fell down to the ground at one time, at the same time, like it was raining fire from heaven. Everything got torched at the same time. This is very rarely happens this way, but that's what happened in the campfire in particular. It burned down the whole stinking town. But it was a crown fire that traveled like greased lightning across the top of the trees.
I watched it happen. I watched it happen here in the valley from my bedroom windows, and I watched it go from Simi Valley, and it just took it looked like it took minutes, And the next thing you know, it went from Simi Valley to Malibu. You know, that was during the day. I mean, in real time, you can't even drive that fast if you're in a car. It would take you 90 minutes to go that, and the fire outbeat it. Well, listen, Patrick, I want to remind everybody, Technocracy News is Patrick's website. The links are right there at jimmychurchradio.com and citizensforfreespeech.org. The new book is called Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. It's right there. Everything is covered, and you can get all the information you need over at Patrick's websites. Patrick, thank you so much, my friend.
My pleasure.
Great conversation tonight. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This is broadcast owned and copyrighted 2019 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I want everybody to be safe. I'll see you tomorrow night, Fader Night. Open lines all night long. Until then, go Beckley Teppy.